What's up guys, this is Astranox. I've been crushing it in Arena. The easiest climb in my life to champion. I've been in Challenger for a while. I decided to build finally Arbiter Vildred, which everyone can get now. And this video is about showcasing the power of Straze. You can see that I didn't do many attacks in the past. My defense, doesn't get attacked that much, but as you climb more and more, of course you get attacked more. And as a free-to-play player buying flags every week, you can easily get something like over 100 attacks in. So it's going to be easier to climb if you get all your attacks in. And the way you want to build your team. Okay, you got Straze, you have Arbiter Vildred, right? So now what you need is 2 more heroes. Of course, you might not have these 2 heroes. So what you want to run, what I do recommend that you guys go with, is your combativeness booster would be Judith. And then if you do have the Knight Rose, you could use her as your secondary combativeness booster, but she also brings attack buff. She's very tanky. She could be carrying Aureus, or you could put like Warhorn on her or something like that. And Judith has very high base speed. It's 117, I believe. So this is much better than Desert Joe Bazaar, which has like 111, 112 base speed. So this team has insane offensive power. It is ridiculous how much damage he can actually do. Straze is so effective at taking out their Knight, holding the Aureus. So as soon as you take out that Knight, they are so much softer. It's ridiculous. Now Straze, he doesn't take any damage after he uses skill number 3. So you can guarantee that he stays there and he will be doing his skill number 2, and they will have less heroes on the battlefield, so you'll be dealing even like more damage, and he will be removing buffs off of the enemy. Very good when they have like invincibility, immortality, stuff like that. You want to speed things up, and you're tired of having like a Ruel of Light keeping herself alive or stuff like that, right? Now, Desert Joe Bazaar, he's good because he brings immunity for the whole team, and he brings some healing. And Sinful Angelica, she has attack percentage, memory imprint, she has attack buff, speed buff, and the duo attacks, the constant duo attacks, which are calling Arbiter Vildred most of the time. Sometimes it's Straze because he's on Hellcutter and he builds his attack up as Hellcutter, stacks up. But man, like, you can definitely run 2 other heroes instead of Desert Joe Bazaar and Sinful Angelica. So Judith is great, and if you go back to my win rate for previous weeks, you can see that I started to build Arbiter Vildred and then I got Straze, but my combativeness booster was actually Rosede, right? So Rosede, he doesn't have the highest of base speed. It's actually 114 after, you have the specialty change of Rosede, and you get some of his all of his runes unlock. You get some speed out of that. So 114 base speed, which is not as high as Judith, but he brings speed buff. If you don't have, let's say, Sinful Angelica, the speed buff is good, but you don't need it. That's the thing. Now, this battle, I'm going against Bazaar. I usually don't attack Bazaar because I'm trying to clean up the whole list. I'm trying to take out all of these 5 teams to hopefully get a free flag, which is always nice. But normally, I do not attack Politis teams. Since there was no Politis in the list, I just decided to go and clear the whole list. So the issue with Bazaar is that if he stays alive, he will be removing your buffs, and he can potentially stun you, and he can cripple you with attack break and decrease hit chance, which is really annoying. If more than himself stay alive in their team, it's going to be rough. Look at that. Double stuns. RB and Straze get stunned. Straze can now take damage, so that's really bad. So that's why I don't usually attack him. And he's paired with Tempest Siren, which you cannot one-shot. So it's very, very bad. And Tempest Siren, when she has barrier from F.O.O.L and Cecilia, she needs 3 attacks to go down. And if she's on lifesteal, it can be causing some other problems. And Last Rider Crow, very tanky with 25.4k HP. So it's not a hero you can take out easily. And with constant AoE attacks versus him, his cooldown for the horse is going to be up faster. So extremely dangerous if Bazaar stays up and he, lands the skill 3. And of course, if he lands some stun. So I would avoid Bazaar. Teams that I would avoid beside him. Okay, so there's gonna be, of course, Politis, because as soon as you use a non-attack skill, she's gonna, reduce the CR push by 50%, and then she's gonna get combat genius increase for herself. Then she's gonna cut, she's gonna go, and then her passive triggers damage there. Her turn, she can follow up with skill number 3 on auto. That's what she's gonna do, and that damage is quite high. Your Straze could be out of the picture already. Could be debuff, could be really bad, and it could be even worse than that. You could have some other heroes that went down as well. Other heroes you don't want to attack, like Straze, it's okay. When you have this Urjo Bazaar, it's okay because I can remove the debuffs on my team and I give immunity to my whole team with the CR push. Like, it's great. Like, DJ Bazaar is great for that. His base speed is not as high, but I can just go in versus Straze teams. Sometimes they have two very high speed heroes, like Straze and let's say Fairy Tail Tenebria. Let's say the restrict, like, slow my speed down, and maybe, and then maybe Fairy Tail Tenebria outspeeds me, and I could be in huge trouble at that point because I'm fully crippled, resurrected, provoke, and all that. So be careful, be mindful of obvious speed teams. So Fairy Tail Tenebria, they could have all their best speed on her, and you'd be surprised how much speed some players have. In high challenger, especially champion, higher as you climb in champion, and of course legend. So you gotta be really careful about that. Now, you don't need that much speed. That's the most important thing that you guys need to remember, is that a lot of teams that I'm attacking have very little speed. I'm talking about tanky teams. They're running like, I don't know, Tempest Siren, they have Arbiter Vildred, they have like Fawn Cecilia, they have a Ruel, maybe they're running like Ruel, Maid Chloe, plus like 2 damage dealers, or 2 bruisers like Landy, Stealthed, and then Ravi. Like, there's a lot of combinations, but if you can take out their Knight, because Straze, he's perfect for that, he easily take out the Knight, you're just gonna guarantee huge damage following up with the Arbiter Vildred, and then Straze, the AoE skill number 2, perfect for cleaning up. You can see that Straze has more damage than Arbiter Vildred. He's dealing more damage, and I really love his performance. He gets easy memory imprint from using gold transmit stones as well, so that's another plus right there. But yes, it's like I said, you definitely don't need Disorder Bazaar, you don't need Sinful Angelica. Sinful Angelica is cool, but the issue is that you will need even more speed. You have to speed tune your whole team. Now, let's say Arbiter Vildred and Straze will need around 200 speed. If you're going for, my numbers, what I'm running, actually my stats are at the end of the video, guys. The stats of each of my heroes and their skill ups. So check that out, stay tuned for that. But yes, with Sinful Angelica, it's harder to gear. You will need more speed. It's going to be rough. But if you're running like Judith plus Rose, or Rosie plus Rose, or DJ Bazaar plus Rose, it's going to be great because you have 2 heroes that push combat finesse. Now, what that means is that you can have much less speed on Arbiter Vildred and Straze. That means you can have like an attack set, right, on Straze. You can have like, you could have a destruction set on Arbiter Vildred, something like that, or just double attack sets. You could be running free gear, really. That's the thing. You could just be running free gear. So Politis here, double Politis teams, and then there's Elena. I skipped that. Elena is another hero you don't want to attack because as soon as you land an AoE attack, she's going to push her combat genius up, and then she's going to cut, and she's going to put invincibility on the whole team. That's real bad. It's going to mess you up. So yeah, you got to be careful about that. So that's definitely another team I do avoid. But outside of that, right, like if it's not an obvious like speed team that will outspeed you, because if you don't feel too confident with your speed, right? If you don't have a DJ Bazaar and you're going into a Straze team and they might have all their best speed gear on that Straze, you know, Straze with like 300 speed are not like uncommon in champion, so be mindful of that. But outside of that, if you dodge these teams, because there's a lot of teams that are not running well, those heroes, right? So you can just go and attack those teams and you're gonna be fine. Now you might not be going for champion, maybe you're trying to break into challenger, or you're trying to give it a shot to try to push into champion, right? You'll definitely do really good, like really good. Like if I had my speed gear that I have on DJ Bazaar on Judith, I would have something like 9 more speed, something like that, and that is huge right there. Like that's a massive difference. Now if you're going versus a slow team, you could be using a combationist booster like Rose, which doesn't have high base speed. It's under 100 with exclusive equipment. It's like over 100, but it doesn't scale with the speed set, that exclusive equipment. But still, if you're going versus a tanky team, there we go. Got I pushed into a champion 4. You can be using Rose as the CR pusher. You could be bringing something like a speed memory imprint, Arbiter Vildred plus Straze, and that will be very effective. Now, this is my defense team, and right there, like let's say you're running Rose instead of DJ Bazaar, that team will be really powerful. Now, Vildred Triple S is not something easy to get, but I dumped all my Covenant bookmarks to make that happen, right? But you could be running like a Fire Shuri, could be running Sid. You're not gonna have speed buff, but still, things like that. Get that speed imprint. You can see here I did some more battles. I used all my flags. If it wasn't for that Bazaar battle, I would have 10 wins. Be careful about speed trap teams. I'm talking about a team that might be stacking speed memory imprints. Now you will not encounter that in champion or higher. You might see that in challenger or lower leagues. Just be careful about that. Just remember heroes which have speed memory imprints. If you see a defense team that doesn't have a knight and they're like running a bunch of control heroes, or they're running a bunch of like damage dealers, be careful. They probably have a very high speed hero in there that will push combationess or that will initiate on you and mess things up. Be careful about Assassin Sid opening up. You will attack your highest CR hero, combationist hero, which is the hero that has the most speed on your team, and he will take out that hero, or he will push back combationist, silence that hero. Like a super high speed hero like Straze or Celeste, and they have a challenger Domino, you know, she's gonna follow up, push the rest of their team's combationist, and then they're just gonna go back to back and mess things up for you. So don't attack teams like that unless you're sure that you will be outspeeding. If you're looking for an emulator or a new phone, check the description of the video. If a team is running a knight and they have martial artist Ken, your Straze will take their knight out, right? But then martial artist Ken, he's just gonna counter attack non-stop. So he could one tap your Arbiter Vildred actually twice. You probably don't want to attack teams that have martial artist Ken on their defense if the team looks really tanky. But yeah, you can see my stats. It's high, but imagine if you had, let's say, Judith plus Rose, 2 CR pushers, 30% CR from Judith, 25% from Rose, 55%. You can have like almost base speed on your damage dealers. Maybe just 20-30 speed on RB, and Straze, just make sure he goes before RB. And then, you're gonna hit even harder because it's gonna be easier for you to get high attack, high crit damage. So keep that in mind. This is gonna be a really good trick for you guys to climb higher in arena. And you can be using Judith and Rose in Guild War offense as well. You can be using them in RTA. Rose is actually great in PvE content. But I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you did enjoy it, if you did learn something, just smash that like button, and if you still haven't subscribed, well, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you guys think about this team composition or some of the teams that I talked about in the comment section. But that's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all you do. Peace out for now.